Greetings, brothers and sisters. Yours truly, Christy B. Motep here. Another beautiful, bright day again today in London City. Sun is beaming out. But brothers and sisters, my heart is down because of what's going on with my brothers and sisters in various other parts of the world, most notably the United States of America. We heard of that and we saw that traumatic death of George Floyd at the hands of police in Minnesota on the 25th of May of 2020, Monday just gone. And to use it metaphorically, my heart bleeds for what I saw. And it's, there's been a massive outrage on social media, not just on social media but around the world. Many celebrities coming out and giving their 2 pence about events, sending their special tribute to George Floyd's family and so on. And there's a campaign, justice for George Floyd. I mean, even I've got caught up in it, and I've posted several posts about it yesterday and again today around Twitter and around Instagram and around Facebook. And here I'm doing a YouTube video here now, even though we're not going to go totally live, but we're going to post it on later. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, by the way, Crispy and Motep. Like all our videos, share them, speak about them, leave your comments, send a like, and as I said, share it and subscribe to the channel. And so, what do we know about George Floyd? I mean, I've done a bit of research about him, and I know he's from Houston, and he has a brother, Jackson, and he moved from Houston, where he's born, and to go up to Minnesota to drive trucks. And he was also working in a restaurant as a security man. And I'm hearing, I don't know if it's true, but I'm hearing that the police actually kneeled on his neck. He used to vacate the restaurant quite well in which he used to work. He used to go. The police who killed him, actually you can call it a modern day lynching, because he got killed. There's no two ways about it. He got killed. You can see the police when he kneeled on him. He was kneeling on him for at least a good 10-15 minutes, and he said, "I can't breathe, please, I can't breathe." And so the police kept his knee on him, and to the point where he was motionless. And I was even knowing that there was some people around where the incident was being captured, because obviously somebody filmed it. And one of the guys who was actually there watching it all happen was saying, "Can't you hear he's saying that he can't breathe? Are you deaf? Can't you hear he's saying he cannot breathe?" But the police showed no remorse, and he kept his knee even further on him, to the point where that was it. And he was calling out for his mummy as well. When he's calling out for his mummy, that's more or less the last straw. And so, brothers and sisters, I'm telling you out there to stay together and to fight the fight, like Bob Marley and the Wailers song. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer said, get up and stand up for your rights. You've got to stand up for your rights in this time, because if you don't stand up for your rights, it will get a lot worse. And white people seem to think, and even those in authority seem to think, they can hurt black people, they can kill black people, they can destroy black people, but there's going to be no retaliation. There's going to be nothing done about it. That's why the likes of Colin Kaepernick kneeled that time, and he got hugely criticised for it and penalised for it. But you can see why he took a stand, for symbolic of him kneeling down at the national anthem at an American football match a few years ago now. You can see why he did it. It's for instance, like what happened on one day to George Floyd. Well, it also happened many years ago in the Rodney King scenario, when he got killed in police custody. That was all the way back in '92. I remember seeing that one on TV, watching it via the news, and it was horrific. And I remember a lot of people here in England used to talk a lot about it. In actual fact, the Rodney King incident was used as a reference to many of the issues that we have over in England and the UK, with the police brutality towards black people and the police hostility towards the black community here in Britain. So, but in America it's gone on to another level, because it's happening almost on a daily basis. And so many people have passed away, so many black people. I remember many years ago, and I think I was in hospital at the time, so I never knew until I came out, because I didn't know what was going on. And the situation surrounding Eric Garner, which is a similar scenario to what we saw on Monday with George Floyd, where he was being pinned down by several police officers to the point where he said he can't breathe. I can't breathe. The same thing that, of course, George Floyd had said to the police officer when he just kept his knee on his neck. The same thing happened a few years ago, 2014, with with Eric Garner. You see, and they just didn't want to listen. They showed no remorse. They didn't care. Obviously, Black Lives doesn't matter. You see all the protesting taking place when they're marching around various cities in America, various states, saying that carrying banners saying Black Lives Matter. Even white people are doing it. And I saw an interview with, what can you really call it an interview? It's more or less like a speech by the mayor of Minnesota, and he was actually crying. He's white. He was actually literally crying, giving a speech about what occurred with George Floyd on Monday. And he, in actual fact, he made sure that the 4 police officers involved, of course, the one police officer, the pig, the dirty pig, who should be given the death penalty, by the way, in my opinion, the dirty pig who actually kept his knee on the poor man, George Floyd, he got fired, as well as the other 3 officers who was around seeing what was happening at the time. I was thinking to myself, so why didn't one of the other police officers kind of intervene and come to the rescue of the victim? But I'm there thinking that police officers are really trained to really be on the side of one another, because if you are seen to be rebellious, if you're seen to be to object to what your colleague is doing, you can be vilified, you could be targeted, you could even be put to death and picked on. And so police officers are, in a way, I don't like to use this word, but this word is really supposed to be used for people of the high excellences in society. I think the police officers are exercising a level of diplomacy by not intervening in that situation, because they know that if they did, there'll be fatal consequences, and they will have to either leave the police force. They're going to feed their families, feed themselves. You've got to think about that as well as being targeted, and as well as not having a job. So they had to, even if they didn't agree with what was going on at the time, they had to kind of like side of the murderer at that time, which is the wrong thing to do, really, by the way. Because if that was me, if I was in that force, I would say, look, even if I was white, I would say, full stop, what you're doing is wrong, and I would walk out straight away. And I've done similar things to these before. I've had jobs where I've seen racism and I've walked out. I've not gone back again. And so you've got to, in moments like these, you've got to really take a stand, and you've got to be strong in what you do, and you've got to, have a mind of your own. But the mind of your own is going to be the right mind. I was seeing something as well in social media that said that Barack Obama and Michelle Obama never said anything about it. I never thought Barack Obama and Michelle Obama would say anything about it, because the whole time they were in office, they never really catered for black people. Do you remember before Barack Obama got sworn in as a president of the United States of America, he was saying that there's change is about to happen. We're about change, or he was about change. But what was the change? All he did was fight for the Hispanics. He fought for all the communities in America. He fought for the Hispanics. He fought for, of course, the Asians, the Arabs, and the whites. But he neglected the blacks. The black people are the most underprivileged people in the United States of America. They're the only ethnic group that, were never really, out of all the ethnic groups, they're the only ones that were brought there. All the other ethnic groups came there, but the blacks were brought there via slavery. When the slave trade took place, how many years ago now? 600-700 years ago now. So they're brought there from Africa against their will. And so they're not really ethnic. They're not even an ethnic minority, because they never asked to be there. They were brought there through labor and through slavery. And then when they were freed as slaves, you can say freed in inverted commas, because they're still not free, really. They're free, but they're not free, if you see what I mean. Because they're free to go around, but they're still not free, because a black person could be walking down the road and for no reason, because they might look suspicious, or according to authority and law and the police force, they might look like a suspect, so they could get shot, or they could just be shot like that without any consequences. So they're not free. They're free, but they're not free. They're constantly under surveillance. So as a black person in America, you've really got to always be in your P's and your Q's. You've always got to be in your toes. And I think you saw the rioting in Minnesota I think there's 2 nights of rioting. There's been burning and looting. I saw some of it on YouTube earlier, and I was watching some of the CNN news links and some of the other news links, and there's been burning and rioting, looting, shops have been smashed to pieces, cars have been burnt. I saw a police car being shaken by a group of people, angry protesters, shaking a car and smashing the windows to the car and all that. And in a situation like this, you can't really have a peaceful protest because of the severity of the situation. So you're gonna have a lot of people angry, and you can't. The fire is inside of their bellies, and it's 2 nights of rioting. In my opinion, what must happen now? There's got to be a total overhaul of the police, not only the justice system. That's another scenario, because we all know that the justice system is rigged and it's racist. And it's full of racists who are making decisions to hire the sharp end of the society and of the I cannot say it now. I've lost my words, but the higher end of the just to say of the society, of the court system, of the justice system. So the police force needs to be totally totally overhauled. And you're never going to stop racism, because racism is a society problem. I've said this many times in talks I've given. It's a society problem. It's a problem that you can walk down the road and then you could be racially abused. So what you see happen down the street, via Joe Blogs or wherever, you're seeing in big establishments. You see it on a football field, on a tennis court. It's everywhere. Do you remember the Williams sisters some years ago? How big they are and how they play, and they look like men and apes and stuff. They call it the Venus and Serena Williams call it. I remember many years ago, Yannick Noah, the great tennis champion from France, got it some years ago. I think he went to play somewhere, and some people in the audio in the crowd, they walked out because a black man. Here was a black man playing tennis, and it's like black people are not supposed to play tennis. So some racist people, they walked out of the of the court because of Yannick Noah's appearance. You've got it everywhere as well. Football is in this country, in England, has reared its racism, and football's reared its ugly head again. I remember a couple of years ago, the team I support, Arsenal, one of our players, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, got a banana thrown at him by a Spurs supporter in the North London derby. And Spurs and Arsenal are very close, and he got a banana thrown at him. And so these things happen. It's a society problem. You're never going to totally get rid of it. And so for George Floyd, I say the people should keep protesting. Don't stop the protests. Keep the protests up. Never stop it. And as I said, the police force is racist and rotten to the core, and the man who killed George Floyd should be killed. The police officer who killed George Floyd should be put to death. Some even say an electric chair. What must happen will happen, and what to be must be. So be it. You've got to face the consequences. You took a life, so your life should be taken as well. And so it's going to be a total overhaul of the police system. They're going to be retrained, and it's difficult to find people who are non-racist, because a lot of them are racist, and some of them will pretend they're not racist, and as soon as they get into the police force, they show their true colours, and they show what type of person they really are. I think you're going to take a test to see how racist you are, and if you there's going to be some proper checking, and then if you're a racist, then you've just got to go. It's as simple as that. You've got to go. You can't be a police officer. And they're going to do so many checks, so many monitoring. They're going to monitor so many aspects of a person's character and a person's psyche to see how clean that person is. And if that person is found to be clean, employ them. But if they're found not to be clean, if they go through a variation of tests, this is my opinion. If they go through a variation of tests, and then if they pass those tests with flying colours and get trained up properly, and show no racial bias towards people, or no fear towards black people, especially what we're talking about here, then yes, employ them. But for me, change is going to happen, and I think black America, and even black people around, because you've seen celebrities come out and talk about it. Many celebrities have talked about it. I saw Mary J. Blige pull up a post. Terence Trent D'Arby, he's now called Sanada Maitra. He put up a post. Fab Marvin, Melanie Valeni, pull up a post about it. Rio Ferdinand pull up a post about it, and there's many other celebrities have actually put up posts about this situation regarding, George Floyd, and the anger they feel towards what's happened. I've listened to Mutabaruka's reasonings on RFM. I've listened to Claude Sinclair on YouTube talking about it, and various other people's. I've even seen people crying about this, about they can't take this anymore. Just keep seeing one of our black men, one of our black soldiers constantly being killed by police, and so on, or by racist white people. It's becoming virtually unbearable. There's some slogans going around now on social media saying, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." That just goes to show you the feelings of people right now around not just this latest incident is more or less the straw that brought the camel's back, but it's been brewing for several years now. And Eric Garner reignited it. Eric Garner, and then you had the racist killing of that young man a couple of weeks ago by those dirty, ugly pigs who killed him. And of course, women are being shot as well. Black women are being shot. And there's one incident a couple of weeks ago. The name quite eludes me right now. You see, but there's been so many. Of course, Eric Garner as well. It's becoming unbearable, and black people are fed up, and enough is enough. And as I said, things have to change. And I personally feel as though I'm going to do a post about this very soon, about going back to Africa, investing in Africa, trying to rebuild Africa, and go back, because the Ghanaian president said that, I think last year it was the year of return, or was it the year before? It was the year of return, so a lot of black people looking to go back, repatriate and go back to Africa. There's even other parts of Africa like the Congo, Ethiopia, and other parts that black people in the diaspora looking to go back to, and lay down roots in the motherland, because they can see quite clear that they're not really valued, they're not really appreciated in the West, America, the UK, Europe, and so on. So it's something to think about. Start trading of your brothers and sisters in the motherland. But we're going to do a thorough post about this very soon, maybe even later if we have the time. So for now, brothers and sisters, you take care of yourselves and each other. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Chrissy B. Emotep. Like all of our videos, leave your comment, share them, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow. We're very serious because we've got a big voice. We're going to get people when we kind of like expand a bit more, when we get some more subscribers, because at the moment we're only about 51. We want to get to at least a couple of hundred, and then we can start to go to that next level where we're going to get people with us. We're going to sit down and have live debates and get you all involved. So once again, brothers and sisters, you take care of yourselves. Peace out. I hope I've covered everything. With a situation like this, with a case like this, you can't cover everything in a mere 20 or so minutes. You've got to, and also you need time to think, because things are happening at such a fast pace. COVID-19, and now the situation around George Floyd, justice for George Floyd, and so on. And so it's so many things coming at you all at once from all different angles. It's very hard to kind of like settle down and think straight. It's like we're being bombarded every second with some negative issue and some negative story, and that's just my 2 pence on it. It's a modern day lynching, virtually, as what Mutabaruka said. That's lynching. That's a modern day lynching. It's funny because I pulled up a post about, I think 3 weeks ago on Facebook, also on Instagram, about lynchings from back in the day, around slavery time and just after slavery, how it really resonates with now our time here now, because even though we're not being technically lynched, what you saw on Monday with George Floyd and with Eric Garner a few years ago is virtually the equivalent of a modern day lynching at the hands of racist, brutal white police. And so, brothers and sisters, as I said to you, take care out there, love one another, and try to, of course, spend with your people, spend with your black people, and try to be close to your black people as well as you can. Stop the squalling, stop the fight, stop the hate, stop the bickering, stop the bitching. Because you can see now that Marcus Garvey had told us, our backs are now firmly against that wall, and you're not going to know yourselves until your back is firmly against that wall. And so, as I said, now is the time to really start focusing about Africa and thinking about the long-term situation, and think about the future generations as well, which are coming up underneath. And I don't think it's very toxic in the West, very toxic and racist to the core. And so, brothers and sisters, like I said, you take care out there. Love you all very much. Keep subscribing to us. We've got some videos coming up soon about music. I've advertised it before about music, about the influence of black music and black musicians in the world. And I've got one about going back to Africa, repatriating as well. So those are two big, videos coming up very, very soon, within the next few days. So you take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chrissy B, and you've been listening. Peace out. One love.